With Super Mario Bros. Wonder officially out, we finally get to jump into a new mainline Mario game that has completely revitalized the franchise's 2D platforming roots, and has embraced a totally new art style, as well as power-ups and a whole bunch more. The hype surrounding Super Mario Bros. Wonder has been huge, and it got us thinking, how does it truly stack up against nearly 40 years of mainline Mario games? Well, today, we're ranking them all. This is every single mainline Mario game ranked worst to best. Let's go! Starting out, we have the once Japan exclusive Mario game, The Lost Levels. It was stuck overseas for a while due to it being too hard, and when we got it, it certainly lived up to its infamy. Poisonous mushrooms, warp zones forcing you back, and devious enemy placements litter the levels here. You can see why some weren't interested in the task, since most of the time the game's pretty cheap with how it gets its shots in. However, on the flip side, this game's difficulty is its claim to fame. It's kinda like the Dark Souls of retro Mario games. Its hard challenge makes players put down the controller for something easier like Battletoads, while others decide to accept it for what it is. Though being a difficult Mario game has led many players to try to test their worth against it. So if you're looking for an old school challenging Mario game, this one is for you. Running onto the mobile store next is Nintendo's first mobile game app, Super Mario Run. This game was made to play with a one-button control scheme, focusing on just making Mario jump by tapping the screen as he automatically runs to the right. If the phrase one-button gameplay didn't flash red lights in your head, well, congratulations on being one of the few people who like Balan Wonderworld. Be proud of it, but in all seriousness, the gameplay here actually works pretty well for a mobile experience. Nobody was expecting it to be a big 3D extravaganza anyway. There are plenty of tricks and gimmicks to make this work, like blocks that stop you, looping screens, and automatically making one-block jumps. Other modes give you a chance to rebuild the kingdom and run to get more Toad residents. It's an even more streamlined experience of the new Super Mario Bros. Game line. It's not all that in-depth, but it is worth trying out. And if you like the demo, it's only $10. On the topic of firsts, next we have Mario's first portable handheld adventure, with Super Mario Land. Mario is outside the Mushroom Kingdom for the first time and heads to Sasa Land. Daisy is being held captive by Tatanga after he hypnotizes her residents against her, and it's up to Mario to save her. First off, if you're a younger Mario fan, I'm sure you're asking the question, who the heck is Tatanga? And honestly, we don't know either. He's like an alien thing, whatever. Now, everyone always jokes about Mario doing shrooms because, ha ha ha, he takes mushrooms, so he must be high or something. But here, there's some confusing stuff going on, to say the least. Koopa shells that explode, flying Maui heads, undead Chinese zombies, enemies disguised as Daisy, and robots with flying detachable heads are just some of the weird enemies you can find. The locations are also unique for a Mario game, including a whole kingdom that hasn't returned even though it definitely should. The game is short with only 12 levels, but as a launch title for the Game Boy, it makes sense. Looking back on the game today, it's definitely on the shorter side, but it's still a quality time. Now, for the first of the quote new series, we have New Super Mario Bros. Wii U. The biggest problem this game keeps facing is the fact that it's the fourth game in the new series. It has its own unique gimmicks like the challenge mode, which gives it a bit more ability to stand out. You also have to go back to Peach's castle since Bowser took it over, which is also kinda unique. But even in the end, it's still just a standard lava world. The reality is, you can tell by this point that the series was losing steam. It's certainly a fine and functional game, and if it was released before the other new games, it would be better received. But at this point, it was just getting played out. The only real new power-up we got was the Acorn Suit, which was just a gliding move, which levels utilized in a sort of bare-bones way, and honestly, it was just an inferior Tanuki Leaf. It's not bad, and the deluxe bundle on Switch is a good way to experience it, but with all the other Mario games we have to play before and after, this game just doesn't have much of an excuse as to why it wasn't as well developed as other Mario titles. Alternatively, you could also check out Super Mario Bros. 2. This odd duckling of a game has Mario dreaming of an adventure with his friends in the dream world Subcon Forest from A Hat in Time. No, wait, it's actually just called Subcon, no Forest. Anyway, this NES game takes the bizarre nature of dreams and runs with it. We're introduced to bomb-throwing rats, veggie-hating toads, and terrifying masks that chase after you after grabbing keys. You don't even beat enemies by jumping on them, but rather by picking them up and throwing them into others. What's most interesting about this game is that it's just a reskinned version of a Japanese game, Doki Doki Panic, re-released with Mario characters in the West. But but it ultimately gave us a lot of characters still present in the series today, like Birdo and the Shy Guys. Moving on, next up we have Mario's most controversial 3D outing, Super Mario Sunshine. Mario's vacation to Isle Delfino is interrupted by a vandal, who looks like his dark doppelganger, and he's making Isle Delfino dirty. He gets framed for the crime because the residents of the island are colorblind and also stupid, and have a terrible judicial system that not even Phoenix Wright could fix. Side note, I'm just gonna say it, the Piantas suck, and I wouldn't be morally opposed to Bowser just blowing up their island, but anyway, using EGAD's newest toy, Flood, aka the Flash Liquidizer Ultra Dousing Device, Mario has to go around the entire island to clean it all up by collecting all the missing shine sprites. The game definitely has positives, like the unique location, and theming it all around an entire vacation. Personally, the tropical vibes the game has is actually one of my favorite backdrops in the Mario series. The music and graphics also sound and look really nice, and they add to the vacation theme. Unfortunately, gameplay-wise, it starts to unravel a bit. Mario's movement here is one of his most floatiest playstyles, with platforming being a bit more challenging than it usually is. Flood feels a bit more like it was tacked on than something that feels natural to Mario, and might have been more like an addition to make up for the changed floaty style instead of adding to it. Though things are a bit split, as this is what makes the game appeal to some fans, but it also kind of weakens it in the eyes of others. And don't forget all the terrible missions as well, like trying to get the casino slots to all line up by shooting water at it, the pachinko machine, the red coins for lily pads, forcing players to go through 7 missions in each level instead of the more forgiving nature of 64, the blue coins, and that terrible boat ride in Corona Mountain. Yeah, the name Corona kind of aged horribly as well. Overall, this game seems to be split down the middle with fans, sort of a love it or hate it situation, and we kind of see both sides. For Mario's first trip out onto the 3DS, we have Super Mario 3D Land. As a 3D platforming title for the 3DS, it was able to help finally be the boost that the system needed. Instead of a collectathon 3D game, it's more of a 2D Mario game with a 3D style of gameplay. You're going around in 3D stages to get to the flagpole. It's not as fun as the 3D collectathon, but it's still a nice time. Alongside completing the levels, you're also looking for medals to unlock more stages to progress. Once you beat the game, you unlock a whole new set of levels to play, basically harder versions of the base game's levels. The 3DS was meant to be a portable gaming console, so these levels were meant to be ones that you could just beat once or twice while out of the house. Now, from 3D to 2D on the 3DS, we have New Super Mario Bros. 2. While this was the new game that made people start to think the series overstayed its welcome, it was at least still trying. The story is still the same save Peach plot, but the real difference this time is the level design. Sure, the graphics got a noticeable upgrade from the DS version, and you can still play multiplayer with Luigi, but the real game changer is the coins. They're everywhere here, and you're rewarded for getting 1,000,000 of them. Said reward is just a different cutscene, but it's nice of them to try and make coins worth more than just a way to increase the love and score count. The golden flower is also a fun idea, allowing the player to turn blocks and enemies into coins as well. Sure, the levels are a bit more thoughtful than the previous Wii game, but the real draw is the coin rush mode. Your goal here is to collect as many coins as possible while still beating the levels. And this is where the game shines, prioritizing coin collecting while still providing fun platforming challenges. It's a small part of the game, and the fact you can't play the DLC courses anymore unless you previously bought them stinks to high heaven, which is ironically where the 3DS eShop is at. But the base game still has more than enough fun levels and paths to traverse them to make this game well worth giving a shot if you haven't succumbed to New Super Mario Bros. Is now old fever yet. For an older 2D Mario game, we have Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. After coming back from saving Daisy, Wario has taken over Mario's castle and brainwashed the residents against him. The real stars of the show here are all the level types. Some levels have you shrinking down to traverse a house, others let you go underwater, and there's even a level that takes place in a robotic body of Mario. Mario, one of which is a highly comical level themed around spheres and screws located in Mario's pelvic region. The enemies also fit each level, with them adding life to each place, especially if you take the story into account, meaning Mario ruled over them until Wario messed it all up. The level types have expanded from the original Super Mario Land, as well as just expanding in quantity in general. There are even levels with secret exits here, something that Wario would carry into his spin-off games. It's something to look for when replaying it. It's not as technically advanced as other 2D Mario games, but what it has to make up for is new themes we haven't seen yet, while still being a fun bite-sized adventure that's actually pretty epic in size for the original Game Boy. But if you're looking for something a bit more new, let's talk about New Super Mario Bros. It's back to the basics as Mario goes out to rescue Peach once again, and Bowser Jr. races back to his papa's castle, with her being dragged along the way. As the first of the return to 2D, it allowed the game to feel a bit nostalgic, but new, at least at the time. The levels look great on the DS, and the music sounds just as good, bringing life back to Mario's original platformer 2D roots. We even got a couple of new power-ups to play with them being the mini mushroom being good for small areas, accessing hidden worlds or challenge runs, the blue shell being a fun way to dash through levels, and of course the iconic Mega Mushroom, allowing players to crush anything in their path for extra lives. The game is just as fun to play now as it was back then. The levels are simple for beginners, yet complex enough for advanced players to snoop around for secrets. From accessing secret levels and worlds, getting all the star coins, or just beating the levels faster, there are plenty of ways for a fan to spend their time. Of course, the side modes are where this game truly shines. The star battles were a great way for some two-player competitive fun, and you haven't heard it from us, but we heard there was a version online that some very dedicated fans made that's just as fun. Just keep it away from the big N. Aside from that, we also got the mini games that come along with it. These games are what mobile games aspire to be. Fun ways to do simple tasks that can be just as fun as the base game. Luigi's Casino minigames are proof of that alone. But could they be added to an even better game? Who knows? It may not be a full game, but we still can't ignore Bowser's Fury. Mario ends up getting sent to a world trapped with Bowser Jr. and a much more threatening Bowser. This Bowser is corrupted by some icky paint-like goop that's moving and is ready to kill Mario no matter what. Teaming up with Bowser Jr., you're gonna have to not only explore a beach setting as you jump and run around enemies and obstacles, but you're also going to have to avoid Bowser whenever he comes out, with him turning this peaceful world with cheerful music into a devastating land with heavy rain and metal music. Sometimes you even have to use them to break open some specific blocks. This game mode is pretty much Super Mario Odyssey Light, and spoiler alert, but Super Mario Odyssey was an amazing game to say the least. Having Bowser Jr. helping us out as we try to stop Bowser from being controlled by his Fury form was a nice change of pace story-wise as well. The challenges aren't that advanced, but they are still fun, and it's engaging to run around the world collecting all the cat shines. Now, for the best game in the new series, we have New Super Mario Bros. Wii. It came out at just the right time. Its 4-player multiplayer mode has led to some fun and frantic times. The levels were more advanced and fitted for the Wii, and the propeller and penguin power-ups allowed for some fun new level traversing tools. The move from the DS to the Wii has allowed the game to get more graphic advancements, while also allowing for new levels that are more advanced than its DS origins. With the game bringing back the Koopalinks to become the bosses of each world, the game feels like a fun throwback to the NES classic Super Mario Bros. 3. While that game is better than the Wii version, this is still a fun time and was created at just the perfect time before the new series became stale and old. But ignoring that for now, let's take a look at Super Mario 3D World. This 3D platformer wasn't able to save the Wii U, but it's still a fun time. Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach are back to being the main 4 characters since Super Mario Bros. 2, with them going around the Sprixie Kingdom to save the Sprixie Princesses from Bowser. Expanding off of 3D Land, the levels have become bigger and grander to accommodate for 4-player multiplayer. The levels are also more advanced with more gimmicks and items to play with, like the double cherry allowing for frantic crazed action against enemies, the cat suit being used to its fullest with constantly having to climb and dive with them, them, and plenty of block power-ups to pick up, like propeller blocks, masks to make enemies friendly to you, and even boxes that shoot out cannons. There's also the addition of Captain Toad levels, which focus more on puzzle platforming and would be successful enough to get a fun spin-off. The game has more going on for it than its 3D prequel, and with the bonus world showing off even harder levels, it provides a great time with some jazzy music to jump around to. Most definitely a game that deserved to be ported to the Switch. Now, finally, we go all the way back to the start with Super Mario Bros., the original. It was a game so good back in the day, it helped the gaming industry recover from the video game crash of 1983. The original game where Mario first set out to save the princess from Bowser is a classic in every way. The second you hear the 1-1 theme, you know you're in for a fun time. Frankly, this is a tough one to rank. I mean, it's the original. Therefore, every Mario game that came after it owes its success to this NES classic. There's a very compelling argument one could make that this should be ranked as the #1 best Super Mario game of all time for that reason. But we decided to rank it here to sort of balance its legacy with newer, more advanced Mario games. But for its time, Super Mario Bros. Was nothing short of revolutionary. But on the topic of Super Mario NES games, we have to rank Super Mario Bros. 3 above it. As the last game on the system, this game pushes the NES to the absolute limit. The Koopalings have swarmed the globe and transformed the kings into animals, and now it's up to Mario and Luigi to save them. The graphics still look good to this day. The colors look great, and the levels overall have increased in quality when compared to the first game. But then there's also quantity as well. The world is just so much bigger. The music is perfect, as it's very catchy for an NES game, and there are also more power-ups here than ever before, with the classic Tanuki suit, the Hammer suit, which really needs to make a comeback, and of course the almighty powerful Frog suit, which is useless on land but rules the waters. The levels are also all brilliantly crafted and designed, with special mention going to the Giant Land. There are secrets here as well, like using one warp whistle to not only get to the warp zone, but also using another one there that makes it so you can get to the World 8 pipe. By now, Nintendo knows how to make a Mario game, and this classic shows. One important note, however, is that if you got the eShop version, back when the world made sense and the Wii U and 3DS eShop still worked, or on Switch with the expansion pack for NSO, you can get the e-reader levels for free, adding even more impressive levels to the game. If you're gonna play this game, maybe one of these versions could be your ticket to a fun time. Next, we have Super Mario 64 DS. So we're not gonna rank the DS version above the N64 original, mainly because the original was such a massive video game milestone. With that said, we will say the DS controls are superior. Seriously, your thumb tip should be over the dash button on Y and your knuckles should be on top of the jump button on B. So you're never at a disadvantage when traversing, and when you're ready to fight, your thumb tip is above the attack button and knuckles are above the jump button. Between the turning being more snappy, the wall jumps being more forgiving, and the camera being much easier to control, the controls are surprisingly good and natural for a DS control style. Now, controls aside, this remake also adds a lot. We have 150 stars now instead of 120, with the new ones taking advantage of the new characters, them being Yoshi, who actually starts out as the one who has to save everyone, Luigi, who makes platforming a breeze, and Wario, who can punch through the hardest bricks in the game. Honestly, the additions make some odd creative choices in terms of characters. You sort of randomly start as Yoshi, Wario's here for some reason, that King Goomba, who is essentially a D-list Paper Mario boss, is thrown in, but it's all great. With the cap system, you're able to change characters on the fly, and we even get some fresh levels, with the levels leading to the bosses keeping Mario, Luigi, and Wario locked up being brand new, alongside a couple of other secret levels, plus a minigame room, and yes, we have Luigi's gambling games to make them even better. Overall, this was just a delightful remake. Now, we're kind of cheating here, but with how big this game was, we have to build a spot here for Super Mario Maker. This was the Mario game everyone wanted as a kid. You can build your own Mario levels. The concept alone managed to give the ill-fated Wii U at least half a year more to live. Honestly, if Smash Bros. Couldn't save it, nothing could. But still, players were able to finally step into the role of level designers and create their own unique levels. Sure, plenty of these courses come from the same mindset that putting Mario in the Unreal Engine would make him better. That being, they just missed the point of Mario entirely. However, we got some great levels that pushed Mario's capabilities to the max, packs, and also got some sweet amiibo costumes to use to give us new characters to at least look like, but there was still room to build on. And that's where Super Mario Maker 2 came in. More parts have been brought in, like slopes, snake blocks, and an on and off switch. We also got a new 3D world theme, which gives the players more creative options and physics to play around with. We also even got an official story mode to go along with it, with Mario and the Toads trying to build a new castle for Peach after the previous one got deleted. Also, the online multiplayer was ambitious, to put it nicely. At least it went from being unplayable to being playable if you can stomach less than 30 frames per second, or just have a strong enough internet and play with people with just as strong of internet. Alongside the Wi-Fi, the game itself has some worthy updates, including new power-ups like the Link power-up that lets you use his abilities, and the Big World update, which essentially lets players create their own games with their levels making up these worlds. It's a great construction kit for anyone with a creative itch. Now, it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. As our 6th most favorite Mario game, we have Mario's most recent 2D outing, Super Mario Wonder. Mario and his pals are invited to the Flower Kingdom, where Prince Florian welcomes them, only for Bowser to make a grand entrance possessing the Wonder Flower and taking over Prince Florian's castle, heading out to take over the kingdom. With that, Mario embarks on arguably his most creative journey yet, even taking out the Wonder Flowers for now. The levels themselves are a lot more imaginative than anything in the new series. From roller skating Koopas in the fall, lands of ice cream, enemies smashing into you in the mines and breaking crystals, and so on, each level is actually unique in its own way. Just go through World 1 here, and then go through World 1 in any of the new Super Mario Bros. Titles, and you'll see the difference is night and day. And of course, the Wonder Flowers add even more ingenuity. Walking on walls, messing with the speed of the world, or even taking a break to perform a musical. Even when you replay the levels, it's still a great time taking part in these mini adventures. It also helps that you have another tool to choose how you play around in levels. That being your badge system. From action badges that give you a parachute or grappling vine, boost badges giving you a chance to save yourself from falling, or more coins when jumping in time with the music, or even expert badges that turn you invisible or make it so you're constantly running at Mach speed. Replays are a lot more fun due to all the badges you can play around with and choose from. All of this is further enhanced by the visual and audio landmarks for the 2D Mario series here. Sure, there are the typical grasslands, deserts, jungles, and so on, but within each level they tackle specific parts of the place, like dealing with an ancient temple in the desert, tackling a rolling western plain in the grassland, or even just going off script and having its own fun level themes. The music and sound is also a great step up. The tunes are all great and will get stuck in your head effortlessly. Some small break levels may even have you put together an old tune from one of Mario's past titles, which is a lot of fun. There's even added drums to the sounds whenever you have the elephant power-up. A lot of detail clearly went into how the levels look here, not just the gameplay. And speaking of sounds, the big question many had coming in was just who would Mario and Luigi's new voice actor be, with Charles Martinet stepping down. That new voice actor is Kevin Afghani, and judging by how people were even skeptical and thinking that Charles was replaced in the first trailer for the game, he's doing an excellent job. He's able to match the unbridled enthusiasm and delight Mario and Luigi's voice had under Charles' wing, yet still manages to give their voices a unique twist. Overall, Super Mario Bros. Wonder is a fantastic step for the Mario series in 2D, with fun level themes and gimmicks, a smorgasbord of characters to choose from, including Daisy being playable in a mainline title for the first time, great music, and a stellar showcase for Mario and Luigi's new voice actor. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is nothing short of wonderful. Now finally, we have the original 3D Mario, Super Mario 64, an invitation for some of Peach's cake. You can decide which she meant by cake, leads Mario to find out the princess is trapped within the walls of the castle. You gotta take into account, for a first ever 3D Mario adventure, this game is freaking incredible. It really seemed to bring gaming into an all new generation at the time. The levels are all open and free to explore, with plenty of secrets to be found. Mario also moves around pretty well here as well. You can tell that the team wanted to make this first outing in 3D as polished as the technology would make possible. The levels were created with the movement and control in mind, so even if the controls for movement and camera weren't as good as they are now. The levels were created to fit and work with these controls. The music also stands out to be iconic and classic throughout the series. From the bouncy start of Bob-omb Battlefield, the calm music of Jolly Roger Bay, the playful theme of Peach's Secret Slide, and of course, the incredible ending theme. It's all just a blast to listen to. Peach's Castle as a hub world is also incredible. At the time, it just felt so full of secrets, and the way it links all the stages together through the paintings is incredibly creative. Now, for our highest rated 2D Mario game, just outside the top 3 is Super Mario World. Mario's vacation on Dinosaur Land with Peach and Luigi is cut short by Bowser kidnapping Peach. This is pretty much Super Mario Bros. 3 with even more power. The levels are much more expansive, with some of them even having multiple exits with varying ways to be achieved, with more power-ups now like the iconic and overpowered cape. And of course, Yoshi. The game world has been expanded to see just how you can progress through each stage. There are also all the unlockable levels you can get through these secret exits, further encouraging exploration, with one of these exits even leading to you entering Bowser's castle through the back door. There's also the first ever instance of a special world, with the already tricky to find and fully beat Star Road acting as the gate to the much more challenging Special Zone. Add in some excellent SNES graphics and music, and you easily have one of the best games from that generation. We now enter our top 3, and for our bronze medal winner, we have Mario's first galactic trip, Super Mario Galaxy. When Mario's trip to a festival in the Mushroom Kingdom gets interrupted by Bowser invading the show, stealing Peach's castle and bringing it up to space, Mario is sent on his first ever cosmic tour de force to get the power stars he needs to save Peach. This game ushered in the third 3D Mario game, and it was a big step to say the least. By now, they had experience with a traditional 3D platformer with 64, as well as a more quirky take with Sunshine, giving them more than enough experience to create a grand galactic extravaganza. Mario controls great once again, and this time it's even more impressive considering how he can walk up, down, and all around the planets he jumps around to. The levels are all created to not only fit the new anti-gravity gimmick that the game has, but also have their own unique locales and gimmicks for each galaxy. Each level is also great in terms of how atmospheric they are, either from how cartoonish they look, or how each level gives off how grand and vast space truly is. The music also helps out, with each song being either catchy and playful, or an orchestrated marvel capturing how incredibly epic space is. Plus, with the addition of Rosalina and her backstory, we got a brand new great and interesting Mario character for the universe. It's a game that just manages to capture the minds and imaginations of anyone seeing it for the first time. In second place, we have to give the silver medal to Super Mario Galaxy 2. Yes, the lack of backstory we got from the first game is disappointing. Yes, the hub world is smaller than the Comet Observatory. Yes, some of the magic in space is lost thanks to the original doing it first. But honestly, aside from those factors, Mario's second trip around the cosmos is not only still a blast, but surpasses the original. The atmosphere and music may not be as dramatic or grand, but it manages to be a great mixture of Mario's cartoony world and space's vast epic nature, like you're going on an adventure across the cosmos. It feels like a cosmic constellation that only Mario could have. There are still plenty of gorgeous looking locations, but given a colorful Mario flair that makes them lively. With new power-ups and the addition of Yoshi, new avenues to explore the levels have opened up to give these levels new ways to be played through. It also has a new and unique way to explore levels after getting all 120 stars, with the green stars being a scavenger hunt around each level to try and find them all. It's not as inspired as creating some levels for new stars, but it's a better path to 100% than being forced to replay the entire game as Luigi. We love him, but we feel like him being stuck behind the 120 star reward was kinda doing him dirty, and letting the player try him out for a couple of levels, and permanently once you beat the game once in the sequel, is a better compromise. It's a sequel created due to the original team having too many ideas to force into the first game, and with how many fun and enjoyable levels there are, with them being crafted with care and respect for Mario's universe, it's a sequel that deserves its epic galactic scale. Finally, we get to the very top. The gold medal for best mainline Mario game, we think, has to go to Super Mario Odyssey. Bowser's plan to kidnap Peach this time leads to him planning a wedding of the grandest scale he can ever accomplish. Mario ends up meeting with Cappy and teams up with him to go after Bowser and save Peach, and Cappy happy sister, Tiara. This game goes far beyond Mario's usual Mushroom Kingdom landscape. Lands of talking forks and veggies, realistic cityscapes with regular humans, and even an area taken right from Dark Souls with a boss to match. These are just some of the new worlds that you'll be looking around. Even the more tame levels, like desert and forest levels, have their own special locations within them, like a desert town, pyramid, and underground cave for the desert, and a deeper forest and metallic center of machines catering to flowers for the forest. Each kingdom also has their own unique and fun residents that add variety to the place, from the mermaid folk living in an underwater city, snails living by the seaside, and even a group of competitive seals that love racing. This game gave more unique Mario characters than the last 3 Paper Mario games combined. The world and characters also look great, being a great showcase of the Switch's graphics being used to bring life to the world of Mario as you race around the planet and collect power moons. The moons you collect all around the world are very creative, leading to you either having enough freedom to pick the moons you want and avoid the ones you don't, or combining the moons on a route and snatching them up one after another. It never feels like the game has a dull moment. Mario's moves also work great with this mindset, with him being quick and responsive to control, and motion controls being migrated by being given the choice to press a button instead of using them. From throwing Cappy and bouncing off him to get to a new height, to rolling around down hills to quickly get speed, and even just chaining jumps into wall jumps before diving to get a bit more height and distance. It all feels very natural. The game even encourages you to play around with the moveset with Cappy, complimenting the player on doing some crafty jumps and getting coins in places you thought the devs wouldn't think players would reach. And of course, there's also the music. Tracks like the eerie yet friendly nature of Bonten's theme, Bowser's Kingdom taking heavy Japanese inspiration, and of course, New Donk City having a regular peppy theme all make for a great soundtrack. This game has everything going for it. Mario may have plenty of choices for platforming escapades over the years, but if you ask us, if we had to pick one trip to go through all over again, we would have to flip the switch and get ready to do the Odyssey.